Greetings, freshman football players. I decided to put this video together because a couple of days ago I sent out an email to your parents about our upcoming season and things that are going on. And one of the questions I've gotten back from a lot of parents is, what should you guys be doing now to prepare? We are in a strange time where you're allowed to do some things, but they've essentially shut down sports. But you've got a nice advantage in the fact that I can tell you exactly what the majority of our kids are doing to prepare for football, because we have been running our workouts throughout our entire shutdown. And I have shared with your parents this document that you guys can see right there, that is on the screen right now. You have access to that, and that has every single workout that my track team is currently doing through our lockdown. We are holding on hope that we maybe get to compete in the summer, and unfortunately we have one of the best teams that we've had, so we are crossing our fingers that that can happen. Now, if you look on that sheet, there are all sorts of different links to different things that you could possibly be doing. If you look at this entire sheet, it's going to start out by looking overwhelming. You're like, what the heck is this? I have no idea what's going on here, coach. I can't do these things. Yep, no, you can't do all those things. You don't need to worry about that. But what I do want to point out to you are a couple of things that you can do and you absolutely should do, because your body has been used to doing things in the spring your entire life. We've got a lot of guys who've been out playing lacrosse, playing baseball, or kids who've just been out playing in the neighborhood a lot more, and you are losing all of that stuff that you have built up, or that you continue to build up. In training, we always talk about stacking workouts on top of each other. Sometimes I explain that to my athletes. If you've ever seen old guys that are really strong but never do much, that's because they've had a lifetime of doing things beforehand that's gotten them to a certain point. So what you guys are currently losing right now is your 8th grade spring. So every other 8th grader who's ever come into freshman year has had a body of work, all sorts of things that they did, even if it's play, that has built on where they are to start that season. If you don't do something, you are going to be behind that group, and you're going to be even more behind a lot of those football players that we already have that are in high school now, who have been working through some of this stuff. Now, that doesn't mean go out and do things like running miles. Running miles is not what we need for you guys. If football is your thing, now if you're going to be a cross country guy and eventually be a distance runner for me, then absolutely you should be putting in some miles. But even then, I would rather have you doing a lot of sprinting, and we can work on the miles later. We can work on that endurance aspect. We need you guys to be explosive. So what you're doing in the weight room needs to be explosive types of lifts, and what you are doing on the field and the grass needs to be explosive type of running. So the first thing that I'm going to do here, guys, is I want to open up our total season workout and show you what you guys could do as far as speed workouts from home. That should be relatively easy. With all these, here we go. So as you can see here, this is what we call our 100, 200, 400 workout. It's a multi-day progression that my track athletes do. Now, as I said before, you don't need to do all this type of stuff to get ready to be a football player. Now, some of you maybe want to be a track athlete, and you could do this, but as an 8th grader and as someone who's not going into a track season, I wouldn't necessarily look at it that way. What I would look at is definitely doing a speed workout. Mondays are our speed workouts for everybody. That even includes linemen and throwers. Even if you're a big guy, somewhere out there, Derek Jensen, you may be watching this. This you can do, and top level guys definitely do this stuff. Now, this isn't going to make a lot of sense to you as it's written here. Now, there's a code and there's a way to kind of understand this, but if you go back into the document that I shared with everybody, you will see it is explained very simply if you go all the way down to the beginning. So you could go to the first Monday that my kids were off, and it will tell you exactly how to read that and what to do. So you just kind of scroll down and we would see, let's see here, Tuesday, Monday. So I've got 2 sets of 4 fly 30s. So what does that mean for those kids? Twice they are going to do 4 30-meter flies. 30 meters, you just guess. You don't have it, it's like 30 yards, whatever you think. Go 10 yards before that, get a good run into it, and hold your max speed between those 2 points. Do that and rest for a long time, 2 minutes, take a lap around your house. take a couple of laps around your house and do it again. Why would we rest so long in between sets like that? We do it because when we are actually working speed, we are trying to go all out. If you're not going 95% to 100%, you are not working top end speed, and that is what you need to play football no matter what position you're doing. Those are the most crucial workouts you could do at this particular time. Now, you'll notice that the sets and reps that I have will probably seem easy to a lot of you guys, and if you've worked with me before, you've probably heard me say that right now your bodies are not as powerful as my like high-end 18-year-old men who are doing these workouts. So when they do that, they're using bigger muscle groups, same muscle groups, but just bigger, more massive, and it will wear them out more. So you could probably up some of those, but do not up it to the point where you're suddenly doing it slow. If you're doing that workout slow, it's pointless, it's not worth it. That you guys can see a progression if you look through here, and probably look through with your parents. They might help be able to help explain it to you. But even if you just did one of these workouts and you repeated it for the next few weeks, you wouldn't have to keep changing it, adapting it, or anything. You've just got to get that one thing in, which isn't probably currently happening, as some of you guys are getting a lot of couch time in. Now, the next thing that you can do, so this is your big speed thing here on Wednesday. You could do, I guess I would probably recommend either doing Tuesday's workout on a Wednesday or a Thursday, or Thursday's workout on a Wednesday or a Thursday. So you could either do something like 3x4 80s with a 90-second rest, or if you really want to push it, you could do like 4 80s, 4 100s, 4 80s with a 45-second rest. So what's the difference in that workout? Well, we're working a completely different energy system once we start training like that. We have less rest. That means we're not going as fast, but the distance is fairly short. 80 meters for a workout isn't very far, so we're still going at a pretty good clip. We're going at about an 80%, but then that 45 seconds, you turn around and you go after it right again. If you look at either of those two workouts throughout the weeks on that document, you will see that progression is explained, and it'll show you how to do that. That would be my recommendation. That's what I'm doing with Colton at home. He is going through some of those workouts and doing those modified. If some of them seem like they're too much for you, just throttle it back, take a few things off. But I would recommend, guys, push yourself a little bit. We have a very unique opportunity to do things that kids before you've never gotten to do before. You get to train like nobody else. We can go into freshman football and dominate if we're one of the few teams that have actually been working. Which, by the way, we have gotten some updates on some coaching staff for the freshman team, and I'm pretty excited, guys. We've got some of the guys who were coaching our varsity guys last year that will be coaching with me, coaching you guys, and they're great guys. It's going to be fun. All right, so that's some running stuff that we can do. Now let's take a look at weightlifting, which is definitely going to be a challenge for most of us. Chances are you don't necessarily have access to a full weight room. Now, some of you might, and if you do, you could definitely follow the weight room workout that we have been doing. Now, this, of course, is a workout that's been designed for kids that are in the middle of the season. So one of the things that I have told our team is that since we are not in the middle of the season, and a lot of this stuff is written out there. Again, mom and dad, you guys can go through that with your kids, and you can read all the recommendations and things that are in here to explain stuff. The cool thing about this workout that we've got for our track team is I've got a video for just about every single exercise. I did that because oftentimes when I'm coaching my team, I have 150 kids on my team. About 100 of them are sprinters, which I'm in charge of. That's massive. So sometimes I got kids that are going into the weight room that I cannot be in front of and cannot coach. And therefore, they all have this on their phone that they can actually see what those exercises are supposed to look like. Now, in order to keep this video kind of short, in hopes that any of you actually ever even see it, I'm going to let you guys play with that on your own. Take a look at that. If you have any of that equipment, you can start tackling that. What I would suggest is that you take day one and you repeat it. Make this a 3-day workout. So I've got a day 1 and a day 2. Again, that's because this is designed for kids in season track that are training like mad during this time. So they shouldn't do as much as we can do if we're in an off season. So you could take day 1 and do that on Monday, day 2 could be on Wednesday, and then you could repeat day 1 on Friday or Thursday. Again, that's if you have access to that type of equipment. Most of us don't. That's fine. I also have an option in there for at-home types of workouts. Those at-home type of workouts, I do have a progression in there. It's not as in-depth as I would like to see, but we are obviously limited with what we can do. But if you even do that, guys, if you make that a commitment that you are going to do that at-home workout, I would suggest 3 times a week. Just make sure you never do that back-to-back. Just like our sprinting, we don't want to do the same kind of workouts back-to-back. We talked about this in football. Every time we are doing something like that, we are tearing our body down, and we need time to build our body back up. That is part of why we don't want to just go and hit it all the time. Running miles after miles after miles after miles will not get us recovered. We want to be springy, we want to be poppy, we want to be explosive, and that's what all this stuff is designed to do. So take some time, look through some of those videos if you can, and trust me, guys, you're going to be much better off if you can get some of that in during our quarantine. There are other things within this document that you guys can look at. Again, I don't want you to get too bogged down in all of the things that you can see in here. But if you do have extra time, I know certainly my kids, Colton has been playing video games with some of you guys for hours on end at time. This would be a much better way to spend your time. Challenge each other. You guys are in contact with each other. Start doing those workouts. Videotape those workouts. Send those workouts to me. Send me a videotape of you working out. I will put that on my Arrowhead Twitter and show those older guys that the freshmen mean business as they are coming into Arrowhead. All right, thanks for taking some time to listen to me. I hope some of this can be helpful. If anybody's got questions on it, let me know. Some of those documents, if you can't get access to them, send me a message and I'll make sure that I have access designed for you to get into it. And I think it's about all I got. Thanks for listening, and I really can't wait to see you guys.